Guys and girls, how are y'all doing on this beautiful day? Beautiful day, man. I know with everything going on out there, first let's do the introductions. I'm Instructor Terry Lee Ryan, and this is Instructor Mr. Don Weber. And we're both black belts in the Open Palm System Martial Arts School. And for some of you that haven't been with us for a while, we're going to try to reiterate and go over some things that we haven't done in a while. We were talking about, forms today, Don?
Yes, we are, yeah.
Forms, and maybe going through the first basic moves of it and understanding. Now, the plus side to this is that right now, everybody is looking in this streaming online right now, so we probably have millions of people watching this right now, John. Yeah. Millions, I say, millions.
Oh, great.
So we have to be on our best behavior. So I think what I want to go over first is the basic tapping and stretching, okay? Now, to understand tapping, it's the same thing as if somebody, if I went up to Don and said, hey buddy, how do you feel? Let me do that. You feel better automatically when somebody taps you like that. There's something about that. So in China or the Eastern world, they have something called tapping. And that's what we do. You basically just tap. So you're going to notice when we're tapping that we tap the inside of the arm, tap the opposite side, and we go all the way from the arm to the shoulder. And kind of wake it up a little bit. The sides, when I tap the sides and the chest and all that, I'm just waking the body up. That's what we're doing. We're waking the body up. Tap, tap, tap. Okay? All the way down. And the only thing that I don't do is I don't go all the way down to the feet. I stop somewhere around the knees. Okay? It's good and the good thing about that is when you start to tap, you're bending over, which is good. You want to kind of bend a little bit, okay? Now the second portion of that is the actual stretch. I don't believe in having a complete 25-minute stretch, right? Because that's going to take all our time anyway. But I think a good 5-minute stretch, okay? And the best way to handle this, you can put your hands on your stomach or your waist, whichever you prefer, and we're just going to kind of circle the head around. Now, when you're doing the head and the neck, be sure that you don't go throw it and thrust it back and forth, okay? Because we should do our little waiver right now, Don. We're not liable.
That's right.
we're not liable for any neck injuries that may happen during this video, right? Want to make sure we cover all ends here. But it's good. Now, you notice what he's going to do. He's not thrusting his head back and forth. Just gentle movements back and forth. And then he's going to go to the arms. He's just going to take one arm back, and he's going to kind of thrust the arm back, not thrust, but nice rotation. Okay? Now, you don't have to take your arm again and throw it backwards that you see in a lot of stretches out there in videos. Nice, relaxed, soft stretch. All you're doing is rotating and getting that rotated cuff and everything kind of in motion, okay? And then we kind of go to the waist. We just take the waist and kind of go around, kind of circle, and that kind of wakes the waist up. Now, when you're doing that, be sure that you don't move your head too much, okay? The head kind of stays still. Once you finish with the waist a few times, then we go to the legs and kind of circle the legs around like this, right? And this is a motion that you don't use in the midst of a day. You never use that. That's just one of those motions. And finally, when we finish with all that, we do something called tapping the bottom of the feet. Bottom of the feet. And that kind of stirs the body up, you know? Kind of one of those things. Kind of like putting on your brakes, right, in the car, right? Don't put it like that. That'll stop you immediately, you know? And then if we're doing self-defense, sometimes we'll kind of work on the hands and the wrist. So we'll do some of these things right here. And that'll kind of work the fingers out, stretch the fingers. We go the opposite way, kind of pull these down, right? Kind of work it in and out and shake the hands. And because you never know when we're getting into self-defense, there's a lot of cool things. If I grab Instructor Don Weber's wrist right now, he does a self-defense technique, he may lock my wrist up. Right? So grab the other side too. Now look at this. Now he's got a good control over this. He's most likely going to start to bend. Yeah, thank you. He's going to bend my fingers, bend the fingers, and take an arm bar. But your hands and your wrist and your arms have to be awake to make all those things happen. Okay? Now let's move on to the first thing we were talking about, and that is forms. Okay? In American, in Korean, it's called hyung, H-Y-U-N-G, hyung. In Japan, it's called kata, K-A-T-A, kata. In all these different variations, there's something that is similar in all these styles. It is a set of motions designed to do by yourself, a set of motions. But these motions that we're about to show you, even though you practice by yourself, they are self-defense moves, right? So every motion that you're going to see today is a self-defense motion, and we're going to put it into action after we show you all the moves. So let's start with form number 1, and we'll do 1, 2, and 3, okay? Now, in every system, they have a bow, okay? I just kind of like that simple bow. I like doing that. I'm not really into all the stuff in here and just back and forth and that. I'm not into that too much. Just a simple bow, okay? And then from there, we're going to step back with that right leg. Now, once we step back, there's a few things I want you to understand. Instructor Don right now, he's not on that same line, okay? Now, we call that line tightroping. So 1, just like that, 1. Now, once we plant our foot forward, right, our hands are in front just like this, okay? What I'm going to do from here is we're going to throw a front palm strike. So that right palm is going to come out, and the other palm is going to go right underneath the elbow, right? So the reason for that, because after he kicked me, I may be going back like that. So it protects him from getting hit. That's why that hand is there. Otherwise, if you just did that, you'd get struck, okay? Let's start again one more time. So, first thing is what? We're doing front kick, front groin kick. So 1, kick, put that foot down. Now, look where my foot is now, from here. Hands in front, here comes the palm strike. 2, good. Now watch this. On 3, I'm going to take this hand, I'm going to pull it back to my waist, and the other hand is going to go up, just like that, okay? Now, we don't call that a block, we call that a cover. Cover. There's a difference between a cover and a block, okay? Cover means that hand, or that cover that we're using, is going to go into motion. It's going to do something else next, that cover, okay? A block is pretty much going to stay in that same position, whereas blocking a particular strike, this is not actually going to be a block because nobody's throwing anything at him. This is just a setup for the next move, so we call that a cover, okay? Now the next thing that's going to happen is, and this is going to be move number 4, okay, is, say for instance, I went to go grab Instructor Don. That hand is going to go around my arm just like that, and it's going to lock my arm up. Now the way that it looks without my arm there, go back to where you were. So here's that strike, here's the cover. Watch what's going to happen here. Turn, and we just circle. Circle. So it does that. Okay, now once that circle is already there, right, I'm in this position. And my next move is going to be that palm strike. So this is the person behind me. Yeah, exactly. So don't forget to turn that heel up. Here. That. Okay? Because that way, it gives you a little more power for that strike. If I just did that strike, let me get a little closer to the camera. If I just did that strike, and I just did that, that's one thing. But look how much further I'm going to get when I turn that foot and raise that heel up. Right? A lot more power, a lot more turn. Yeah, exactly. Let's start from the beginning. So now we have 5 moves, y'all. 5 moves. And especially today, I want everybody to go through this the whole week. Because next week we got something really interesting coming up that we want to talk about in forms and postures and all that good stuff. So let's start again. Let's face this way. I think probably Brother Gary's watching you right now. He's looking at you right now. All right, here we go, one more time. So here's our fighting stance. Ready? So it's 1. Ready? Get the hands. 2. Put that hand under. 3, cover. 4, turn and lock. 5, palm strike. Okay? One more time. I'll do the count. I'll give you a hand here, and then Instructor Don's going to do it. So fighting stance. Here we go. Ready? 1, front kick. 2, palm strike. 3, cover. 4, turn and lock. 5, palm strike. Now don't forget that turn and lock has to circle, because what is it doing? Right?
Locking you up.
It's locking my arm up. I'm grabbing him. So let's go back to move number 1, Don. We're going to show you how these motions actually have an effect on defense. Okay? And I think we may go sideways so they can see a little bit better. Okay? So we're facing each other. Face this way, Don. So he's in a fighting stance. I'm the bad guy. Okay? Now, first thing he does is going to be that groin strike. So 1, bam. Now my body's down. Well, watch this. 2, straight to my face. Now, if that takes care of attacker number one. There's another guy that's behind him right now. That's where that hand's going to come up right now. So it only comes up, it does this, but it stays here because it's a setup. Because once I grab him, look, he's already on my arm. Now here comes move number 5. And he doesn't have to hold on to that. He can let that go. He can lock it. I mean, I'd like to lock it. I like to hold on to that strike. Okay? Let's do it one last time, and then we're going to talk about something a little bit different. Okay? So, one more time. Ready? So, 1, front kick. 2, palm strike. 3, cover. 4, turn and lock. And then 5, palm strike. Don't forget to get that heel up. Okay? Really important. Now, those 5 moves, that's 10 moves total in part 1. 10 moves. But the first 5 moves are very important because that's the foundation. And we're always talking about a foundational system. Okay? What does that mean? That means that if you were building a house, if you didn't have a good foundation, most likely that house will fall over real quick, right? So we want to make sure that the style that we're doing right now, the forms that we're doing, has a good foundation, okay? And foundation can work on anything. If I'm grabbing Don, and he's going to do a self-defense technique, and he doesn't have, and what I mean by this, good footwork, foundation, good footwork, good leg work, foundation, good rotation in the hips, good breath, foundation. And when he did a self-defense technique to me, whatever he does right now, that foundation has to be there first. Now, what are you going to do from there down? He's going to tear me up. And look how simple that is. And that really is, to me, simplicity is the key to martial arts. None of this, none of that Jackie Chan stuff, you know, Jet Li stuff. Plus, we don't feel like flying in the air.
No, I'm too old for that.
I like it simple. I like it simple because that is the key. You know, me being a singer, you being a singer, you like to sing. One of the greatest words I heard was from, who's the guy who wrote Sweet Caroline? Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond. And somebody once asked him, you know, why do you sing in such a low key? You know, a low key. He says, because that's my key. Real simple. That's my key. Simple. So if Don, Mr. Don here, is going to do kicks a certain way, that's his key. That's the way he does it. If I'm going to do kicks a certain way, that's my key. Don't ever try to think that you have to be the next Mr. Jones or Mrs. Jones and compare to somebody else, because that's where the martial art changes right there. It's an individual thing when you're doing especially when you're doing martial arts. Now, during this time of COVID and everything else, now we're trying to keep our distance pretty good, and he hasn't been hugging me or nothing like that. So he keeps his distance on there. But I want everybody out there to keep practicing your social distancing, and when you go outside or whatever you're doing, keep your mask on. It's really, we've been very blessed, man. We took our test, we're good to go. But at the same time, we have to keep in mind, what is the most important thing that we see happening here with COVID? The breath. The breathing. And so if we can continue to work on the breath, I think it's going to make a major difference in where we need to be with this, okay? So let's start with some basic postures, okay? The postures, I like, come this little way, little down. No, I won't touch it. But
keep your distance.
Yeah, keep your distance. But we're going to talk about posture 1 first, okay? Posture 1. And even though his hands and his body is moving right now, the main concern here is the breath. So I'm going to run through, as he does number 1, I'm going to tell you what's going on internally. You can see what's going on externally, but I'm going to talk about internally, okay? So as he starts to raise those palms up, he's breathing in through the nose, right? And now he's going to breathe out through the mouth. Okay, now that's the breath. That's what's going on with the breath. Now let me tell you even a little deeper than that. He starts to bring his hands up again. He's breathing in. Now that breath is coming in. It's doing this. It's coming down. Now when he starts to do that, he starts to pack that breath. Starts to come down. So he's emulating this part right here in his body. Okay? And it's really important to understand that process, because that's what makes Tai Chi and Qi Kong and all these elements happen in the body. Okay? As the hands come down and they do this, it packs the breath. So instead of thinking, and I know this is hard for a lot of folks out there, instead of thinking, I'm going to take a deep breath. Now I'm going to do this wrong, and it's hard to do, but Now, boy, my shoulders are moving a mile a minute, right? I look a little funny. But that means that my breath is staying from here to here, right? I'm going to get dizzy real fast. What Don is doing here, Instructor Don is taking that breath. As he starts to breathe in, that breath is going in through the nostrils, right? And then it's going to go down. But he's pressing it as far down as he can. And we call this little area here the dantian. This is the chi source. In Chinese, it's called chi. In Korean, it's called ki. In American, it's called breath. Okay? That's the breath source. So we're basically taking that energy and breath and we're pressing it down. But the best way to understand chi or ki or breath is to give it an image. Okay? It's hard for, especially in the American world, the Western world, to understand what that looks like. So when my hands and this hand start to come up like this, I have to imagine something. So what do I imagine? Maybe clouds. Maybe if I'm in a bad mood, maybe fire. Right? It just depends. But I have to imagine something to get my mind, because we're back to the three important B's: breath, brain, and body. Now, when you connect those three things together, you're doing Tai Chi right. You're doing Qi Kung right. You're doing internal meditation right. Okay? Let's go through it one more time. We'll get into posture 2. Okay? So here's one. This is 1. Posture 1. Now, my knees are relaxed. My body's relaxed. I bring the hands down. Now, here comes number 2. When I get to the center position, I go right here. And then I start to open up, just like this. I'll go side view so you can see some of this. Good. And then we press inward, just like that. Right? So we open now. What's going on here? I'm breathing in. I'm breathing in. I'm breathing in. I'm breathing in. And then I pack that breath. Okay? So imagine all that work going on right here. Imagine that doing this, doing this, doing this, and then packing the breath. And when I say packing, that just means pressing the breath downward. So you can go even, I even think down to my feet. I want that breath to go completely down through my whole body. Right? I really do. Imagine, give you a for instance here. Imagine you're really cold. Don, you've been standing out there in the cold weather. It's 10 degrees outside. It's cold. You want a cup of coffee. You want something. It is so cold. What is the first thing that you do when you're cold? What's the first thing that you do?
Keep breathing.
Keep breathing. I really do. I start breathing. And I try to take that breath, and I try to warm everything I can. I've seen people do. They're trying to warm their hands up with the breath this way when you can do it internally. So I always do that. And when you see me when I'm cold, well, I start doing that. I start tapping. I'm going to warm the body up as fast as I can. And even when somebody's cold, you see them doing that, right? What are they doing? Their feet are cold.
Tap dancing.
Yeah, tap dancing, making money on the side of the road. But I believe that if you can take that breath and you press it all the way down, you start to warm your body up. It does make sense internally, okay? So we're up to posture number 2. Let's do it again one more time. So posture 1 does this. Comes up, breathe in, and down. Now posture 2, we're always going to end up in the center right here. Posture 2, it opens up. Now you notice my wrist go out, and then as it comes back, my palms come back. All right, that's posture 2. Now in posture 3, we're going to start from there again, and then we're going to cross the wrist. Bend down, and we're going to build that sunshine, that so-called sunshine, and let it go all the way around. Don't go past your head, but let it go all the way around. And now the hands come down, and we pack in the breath again. Cross. I'm going to breathe in. Right? Now I'm really, in this particular posture, is gathering all that good energy that's around you, chi that's around you, and you pack it down. Okay? And then we're going to move to posture 4. After you do that, come around. Now watch. We're here, the palms come down. Now I'm right here. I'm going to let my palms face each other. And then we're going to go into the last posture. It's called tree hugger. Tree hugger. Imagine hugging a tree, right? But that tree is actually you. I mean to call you a tree there, Don, but that tree is you. Why? Because we're taking the roots of that tree and we're planting our feet as deep as we can. Mentally, internally, physically, meditation-wise, we plant. And our hands stay just like that. Now, as you're doing this meditation posture here, you are slowing your breathing down. If you can breathe in for 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out, that's good. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, better. 8 seconds in, 8 seconds out, master level. That's good. That's good. A minute in, a minute out, you're beyond us. So right now, think easy. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. Okay? And so that posture becomes that tree, can't be moved, right? Breath, pressing downward. And as you start to do that, now this is what I want to talk about before we close the show. Because going through all these things that we're going through, this posture can be the healing posture. And what I mean by that is if you have an element going on in the chest, then you start taking that posture, right? And the brain, the breath, the body, they all come together, okay? And you start to take that breath that you imagine. So if he's got that breath in his mind right now, say it's a cotton ball, he's going to take that cotton ball and say his shoulder is hurting. Internally, he's going to take that breath and he's going to massage that in a clockwise motion. Clockwise motion. We'll get into that next week. That's what we're going to be talking about. Clockwise and counterclockwise. There's a difference. There's a difference. We're going to be talking about pain next week, Don. Pain, right? But postures can help. Postures can help. And this element right here, identifying first what that is. That's the chi. That's the energy. That's the source. Coming from you. You can take that to every part of your body. If your knees are hurting, and you don't have to take your hands and move it over there, because what happens? The mind does the work right now. So if you have to during these postures, you can close your eyes. Just don't fall asleep. Don't fall over. Again, that's our waiver, right, Don? We got a waiver. If you fall over, it's on your ticket right there. I'm just saying, okay? And from here, once you finish your postures, drop your hands down gently to the side, right? And I like to do this whenever I'm finishing postures. I like to stomp to kind of make sure our knees and our body and everything is kind of back where it needs to be, okay? All right, guys. Don, you want to add anything to this class?
No, I just want to say, do the postures. I came down with a slight case of COVID and had a little trouble breathing. Yep. And by doing the postures, you know, I had a remarkable recovery. Yep. And I was ready to go in 2 days again.
And it's amazing. I don't think we can talk to too many people that has that testimony right there. Most of the people that I've talked to, they're talking 3 and 4 weeks sometimes, man. But I think being that Don and myself, we go through postures, we go through breathing, it makes a major difference, y'all. And this is testimony from both of us right now. If you can practice these postures that we're showing you, it will help you in that COVID sense, in the lung sense, in any sense to do with health. I think right now it's so important to understand that the breath is the most important feature right here. And if you can take that breath and throw it through your body the right way, put it through your body, let it enhance what you're doing and heal at the same time. You know, it makes a major difference. So next week we're going to be talking about a few things: clockwise motions and counterclockwise motions in breath and in self-defense. I'm talking about both of those things. Right? And pain. Now, he may be doing some pain to me next week, so if you see me all bandaged up already, you know what happened, okay? All right, y'all, we want to thank y'all so much for being here with us today on the stream, and hope to see you next week, y'all. So long.
Bye.